Urgent Atlanta Falcons fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Atlanta Falcons updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey, Falcons fans, buckle up because today's news is packed with some exciting developments that could really shake up the team's future. We're talking about a potential game-changer in the secondary, a guy who could bring a lot of experience, talent, and even a bit of that winning edge that the Falcons are desperately looking for. But let's back up a little and set the scene for what's been happening in Atlanta lately, especially as we gear up for the 2025 NFL season. The Atlanta Falcons, for a long time now, have been trying to find that perfect mix, that blend of talent and grit, to elevate their defense to the next level. Last season was a bit of a roller coaster, to be honest. They showed flashes of brilliance, especially on offense, where Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts kept fans on the edge of their seats, but defensively, it was a different story. The secondary, in particular, struggled at times. Opposing quarterbacks had plenty of success throwing against them, and the lack of consistent pass rush didn't help the situation. It was clear that the Falcons needed to address some serious issues on defense, especially in the secondary, if they wanted to contend in a competitive NFC South and beyond. So, heading into the 2025 offseason, the team's focus was obvious. The Falcons made it known, loud and clear, that their priority was to strengthen that defense, especially the pass defense. At the NFL Combine, the team only brought in its defensive coaching staff for meetings, a move that many analysts interpreted as a sign of their commitment to building a stronger unit from the ground up. It wasn't just talk, either. At the league's annual meetings, owner Arthur Blank emphasized that the draft would be heavily focused on defensive talent. And he wasn't just blowing smoke. The Falcons put their money where their mouth was during the draft, selecting 5 players in total, 4 of whom were on defense. That's a clear statement of intent to the league and to their fans. The draft picks reflected a targeted strategy: bolster the pass rush and improve coverage in the secondary. They used their first-round picks on 2 promising edge rushers, Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr., who are expected to bring some much-needed pressure on opposing quarterbacks. That's a move that could help disrupt passing lanes and create turnovers, a vital component for Atlanta's defense to become more formidable. Then, in the secondary, they added Xavier Watts and Billy Bowman Jr., aiming to improve coverage and create more turnovers in the passing game. The only offensive pick was Jack Nelson, an offensive tackle, which shows the team's balanced approach but with a clear emphasis on fixing their defensive issues. But, as always, even with these moves, questions remain, especially in the secondary, where the Falcons still seem to be searching for that perfect combination of experience and youth. That's where the recent rumors and reports get really interesting. Pro Football Focus's Mason Cameron recently weighed in, highlighting that, despite the draft additions, the cornerback room still leaves a bit to be desired. Cameron pointed out that D. Alford, who's been a decent player, has struggled in the slot, and that might open the door for rookies like Billy Bowman Jr. to step in and carve out a role. At the same time, Mike Hughes, another veteran, has shown some inconsistency, which could pave the way for Clark Phillips III to climb the depth chart and get more playing time. Now, this is the moment where things get really intriguing. Cameron floated the idea of adding a veteran presence via free agency, someone who could really upgrade that cornerback room. And who better than Asante Samuel Jr.? Yes, you heard that right. The former Chargers cornerback, known for his ball skills and coverage ability, could be a perfect fit for the Falcons secondary. Samuel Jr. is just 25 years old, and even though he had a tough 2024 season plagued by injury, his previous seasons showed a lot of promise. Over 3 seasons, he accumulated 6 interceptions and demonstrated the ability to lock down top receivers when healthy. His PFF coverage grades in 2022 and 2023 were quite impressive, both hovering around the low 80s, which indicates solid coverage skills. And here's the kicker: Samuel Jr. is coming off his rookie deal with the Chargers and was limited to just 4 games last season due to a shoulder injury. But if he can stay healthy, he could be a real difference maker for Atlanta. His projected market value is around $45.8 million over 4 years, which breaks down to roughly $11.5 million annually, according to Spotrac. That's a reasonable price for a player with his upside, especially considering the Falcons need to upgrade their secondary. Bringing in a player like Samuel Jr. wouldn't just be about filling a roster spot, it's about adding a player who can bring leadership, experience, and a hunger to prove himself after injury setbacks. This potential signing could really change the dynamics of the Falcons' secondary. Remember, they've been building through the draft, but adding a veteran like Samuel Jr. could bring a much-needed boost in confidence and production. It's a move that shows they're serious about contending now, not just in the future. Plus, it would send a strong message to the rest of the NFC South that Atlanta is not messing around. With the likes of Desmond Ridder now entering his second season as starting quarterback, and with the defense getting reinforcements, the Falcons are positioning themselves to be a team that can challenge for playoff spots and maybe even make a run deeper into the postseason. But beyond just the roster moves, what's really exciting is the story of this team's evolution. The Falcons have been rebuilding for a few years now, and you can see the strategic planning in every move. From their draft choices to potential free agent signings, they're aiming to build a balanced team, one that can dominate in the trenches and lock down receivers in the secondary. They've also been focusing on developing their young talent, like A.J. Terrell, who's already established himself as a top-tier cornerback, and creating a culture where young players can thrive and learn from veterans. And let's not forget about the coaching staff. Head coach Arthur Smith and defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen are known for their aggressive schemes and emphasis on creating pressure. Their philosophy is to disrupt the quarterback, force turnovers, and create chaos for opposing offenses. The draft picks of edge rushers Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. fit perfectly into that plan. They are expected to be versatile, high-motor players who can set the edge and collapse the pocket. The secondary, of course, needs that veteran leadership and experience to truly reach its potential, which is why the possible addition of Samuel Jr. is so significant. Now, as we look ahead to the upcoming offseason, mini-camps, and the start of training camp, the buzz around Atlanta is palpable. Fans are eager to see how these new pieces will fit into the puzzle and whether the Falcons can take that next step towards becoming a true playoff contender. The NFC South is still very much up for grabs, especially with teams like the Saints, Panthers, and Buccaneers all retooling and looking to make their mark. The Falcons, with their young core and strategic additions, are positioning themselves to be a team to watch in 2025. And you can bet that the fans' excitement is growing. The city of Atlanta, a football-loving town, is hungry for success. They want to see their team compete at the highest level, make a splash in the postseason, and maybe even bring home that elusive Super Bowl ring. The potential signing of a player like Asante Samuel Jr. could be the catalyst that pushes them over the edge. It's not just about filling a roster spot, it's about making a statement that Atlanta is serious about winning now, about building a defense that can stand toe-to-toe with the best in the league. So, what's next for the Falcons? Well, the offseason is still young, and there are many moving parts. Free agency is heating up, and the draft is just around the corner. The team's front office has shown that they're willing to be aggressive and strategic in their approach. The key will be in how they balance adding experienced veterans with developing their young core. If they can pull off a smart signing like Samuel Jr., that could be the final piece they need to solidify their secondary and make a real push in 2025. In conclusion, Falcons fans, the vibe around Atlanta is one of cautious optimism but also a lot of excitement. The team has laid the groundwork through the draft and is now looking to add that final piece to complete their defensive puzzle. The potential signing of Asante Samuel Jr. is just one example of how serious they are about making a splash this season. The talent, the coaching, the strategy, all are coming together to form a team that's ready to compete at a high level. And with the fan support and the passion in Atlanta, there's every reason to believe this could be the year the Falcons finally take that big leap forward. So keep your eyes glued, stay tuned, and get ready for what promises to be an exciting journey ahead. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news.